Hey, good evening, everyone. You are with Tom from Ludicrous Feed. Thank you so much for joining us this wonderful evening, the 15th of November, 2023. I hope you're all doing well wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much if you're watching us live. Make sure you tell us where you're watching from. And if you're watching us on replay, hello as well. Make sure you drop a comment. And those of us listening to us on podcast, hello as well. Thanks for joining us. Let's welcome one of our regular guests this evening. Of course, we have the wonderful Mr. Rahul. Hey, Rahul, otherwise known as Koshi. Hey, Rahul, how's it going?
Evening, Tom. I was going to say evening, Riz, but I think it might just be somewhere out there, Hollywood Riz, living up the big lifestyle. Now that his presence commands nowadays, he's a busy man.
He's a busy man, a very much sought after man as well. He's literally watching over us tonight, 35,000 feet above the air, somewhere in the airspace between Sydney and Melbourne. He does send his apologies, so he may drop in with a comment or two as his plane touches down. That's the kind of commitment we like from Riz. So, no, lovely to have you, Rahul, this evening. So thanks for joining us, and thanks to everyone else as well. And let's say hello and thank you to our sponsors, as always, tonight, Carloop, Wallbox, and Evee. If you'd like a nice discount code, check out some discount codes from Warbox and Evee in the video description below, as always. All right, well, let's say hello to some of our regular viewers this evening. So we have Mark watching from a very pleasant Melbourne and looking forward to some information about the Model 3 viewings in Australia. Yes, we'll definitely touch on that tonight. Got Brenton watching from the Gold Coast. Hello there. We've got H2 Rider from an overcast Sydney. Yes, it is quite overcast outside. And we also have Graham Watson saying that he successfully tinted the glass in his sunroof. I think Graham drives a BYD Atto 3, so he might be the man to speak to if you want some information about that. Jim's watching from a cold Tassie, and Dave's watching as he's jogging. Hey, that's great. That's commitment as well. And Gaffer's watching us after a long day. Yes, I think most of us can relate to that, Gaffer, so welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Scott is watching us from southeast Melbourne. And thanks, Brenton. Don't forget to hit that like button. Keep the algorithm going. And Peter's watching from sunny Canberra. Hello, Screamer. Hello, Jean. And hello, Chris and Carol watching from WA. Hope you're enjoying your dolphin there. Thanks for sharing those photos earlier. And Kenny Thims is watching from Melbourne as well. And Jasper's watching from a very hot and humid Catherine. Yes, well, thanks so much for joining us. And Kevin's watching from Banyanyong in Victoria. And David's watching from Adelaide. Just got the Evee Next charger, which matches solar export to the car. Nice. Can recommend it. Good. And camping out, waiting in line for the first to see the Model 3 Highland. Yes, we'll definitely get some news about that in Australia. So don't forget, keep watching for now. And Wayne watching us from hot Toowoomba in Brisbane, or close to Brisbane. So hello there. And Jess is watching us from Earth. Hello. Same planet. That's good. And Kangaroo Island TV, of course, watching us. Another fantastic day driving Polestar 2 around Kangaroo Island's back roads. Yes, Kangaroo Island's been sharing with us some nice photos of his beautiful new Polestar 2 from Kangaroo Island, South Australia. And John's watching us from Katoomba as well. Hello, John and Fiona. And yes, William is right. MG4 announced Car of the Year recently, Rahul. I mean, honestly, that's no surprises, really. It's a very good value vehicle.
Yeah, 100%. I hadn't come across that news that the MG4 was announced, but in terms of its styling, its mass appeal, the amount of features that car packs into that price point is fantastic. So yeah, congrats MG, and obviously their sales have been quite up there with the MG4 as well. So hey, you know what? The consumers and the reviewers have spoken. So congratulations, MG4, on that car sales Car of the Year award. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Rahul. And I actually have an MG4 right now, thanks to MG Australia loaning me a press car. So I've got a white MG4 Excite 51, like the cheapest MG you can buy. And honestly, it's like nothing flash, but it's good. Like, it's basic but good. That was the name of my thumbnail for my video, which some of you members might have seen. It's a members only video for now till it's released in a couple of days. So yeah, check out that video when it releases. But I agree with this headline. It's well worthy of that title, and hopefully we'll get more people into EVs with such a good price point for a very much an entry level vehicle. So well done, MG Australia. Good work. Okay, so we've got some news and we've got some more people watching, so that's fantastic. Thanks so much. And Chris is watching us while walking the dog. Wow, that's so good, Rahul. I mean, I'm flattered. People are doing the everyday things, but still keeping us in the background. I mean, it's good to be in everyone's ears tonight. So thanks for having us.
Let's face it, right? We're part of people's Wednesday night lifestyle routine, and if they don't get their fix, they're going to be cranky the next day. So we might as well put on a good show for them. What do you think, Tom?
Exactly. Yeah, we'll try and keep it light but informative as always. Shalendra is asking, when is the EV9 press car coming? Yeah, I've had a few people ask that this week. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to take on for a spin. I've been seeing a few sort of quick reviews of late. So, I mean, the ideal video would be to get the in-laws in the car on the WA EV charging network and have, all 7 seats taken up with luggage and driving up from Perth to, to Broome or Exmouth when that network is finally complete. So, yeah, stay tuned. I have asked Kia for a vehicle, so hopefully in the next few months we'll have one to report. And thanks, Jasper, for joining us as a member. Appreciate that. Thank you. And don't worry, Gaffer, the video will still be there after the stream, so don't worry, check it out. All right. And Simon's watching us from Tenterfield. Hello. Nice to have you on board tonight, Simon. Okay, Rahul, well, we might move on to tonight's stories. Hey, let's kick off with this one. And as a Melburnian, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Finally, Central Melbourne has another supercharger station in South Yarra. 6 stalls. That looks like a really good installation.
Yeah, it does. Now, I'm not exactly sure where this is. I'd love to go and check it out. Obviously, checked out the last one, which was in Abbotsford. And then you obviously have the Richmond chargers as well. So in that belt there between Richmond, Abbotsford, and then next door, South Yarra, past Punt Road. Now you've actually got three different sites with Tesla supercharging stalls as well. Look, great news for Victoria. I did hear a comment somewhere, I think in that thread there, somebody said, hey, what about WA or what about some of the other sites there? But I think I have a feeling that this site have been a vendor initiated Tesla supercharging site rather than being one of the official sites that was selected from their quarterly ballot scheme as well.
Yeah, if anyone in Melbourne is watching tonight, tell us where this charger is, because the last time I was in Melbourne, only the Richmond site was open, or Cremorne, and only 4 stalls, which was a bit disappointing being an interstate visitor, only having 4 superchargers to choose from. But now we've got 3 stations and lots of stalls as well. So good to see Melbourne having more superchargers, which is good for visitors, really, I think, at the end of the day. And, of course, people that don't have off-street parking as well living in Melbourne. So great to see. Yeah, let's see. Is it paid parking? Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's sort of 2 to 3 hours free parking like a lot of shopping centres in Australia. Here we go. We've got Mark saying it's in Como Centre, Toorak Road. Rahul, is that a convenient location?
Yeah, good location. It's, Toorak Road. So yeah, I don't know whether they're open 24/7. I do know from the Hive location for the Tesla superchargers in Abbotsford, the first hour of parking was free. But V3 superchargers at 250 kilowatts charging. I mean, if you're there for an hour, you've got enough charge. You're ready to go within about 30 minutes anyway. So that should be enough for most people, I would gather.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you can get a full charge for even a rear-wheel drive Model 3, Model Y in well, not full charge, but close to full charge within 30 to 40 minutes. So easy. 1 hour free is all we need. Scotty says it's a stone's throw from Cremorne, so very close. And Sanvi's saying we need more on our side, from the Greenbelt to Yarra Valley, around Eltham, Greensey, Dymo. I'll pretend I know these areas, Rahul, but you probably know.
Yeah, Greensboro and Creek.
Yep. Kenny's saying it's at the Como Centre on Chapel Street. Okay, thank you as well, confirming that. Appreciate it. And Scotty's saying, I believe you get discount if you go to the customer service and show your phone. Okay. And photo unplug share. Cool. Excellent. Well, that's good news for Melburnians. Well done. That's good. Moving on to more Tesla news. Well, this is not really news. This is more sort of, what's a nice word to say it? Candy. Eye candy. I wanted to say the other dirty word, but it's a PG show. But bit of eye candy for for Tesla viewers. Our good friend Nash from Tesla in the Gong featured on the Tesla Asia X page because he posted this beauty. That's his Model Y in red performance amongst a trove of jacarandas on the ground there. Is that the right word? Whatever. A collective noun of jacarandas, looking wonderful. And thanks, Nash, for sharing this. What a beautiful picture, Rahul.
Oh my goodness! I mean, hang on. Is this man like, a jack of all trades, man of many talents? Like, these photos are just outstanding. I mean, the blue, the red, the green, they all pop. And obviously being recognized by Tesla Asia and being Elon's illegitimate son or legitimate son. Goodness me, man can do no wrong. Gorgeous looking car, gorgeous looking background. And this is what it's all about, right? Posting some of these photos and inspiring some other people out there to go, hey, you know what? I could take a photo like that with a car like that in my front yard or backyard, where I get all this fantastic natural elements come through in summer or in spring or in autumn.
Yeah, no, having owned a red car, they really do pop and look fantastic in photos. And as you said, yeah, it's contrast against the purple of the jacarandas. It's a beautiful time of year. The jacarandas are out in bloom. So yeah, Nash, as you said, jack of all trades, master of this one. It's fantastic. Thank you, Nash, for sharing. And SWS is thankful that we had the RACQ on last Monday, 2 days ago. And I want to thank Rahul publicly for helping us out with the production of that show in the background as our special producer that night. So, and again, thank you to Dr. Michael Kane, head of policy at RACQ. So if you missed that stream, go check it out. It's a replay on the channel and also on podcast as well. Very kind of him to share his time. And also he was so knowledgeable, wasn't he, Rahul? Very, very good speaker as well.
Yeah, what an amazing individual to lead public policy for RACQ, right? It's just like, it's top down. If you have somebody at the top who really lives and breathes what they are preaching, it's so much easier for the rest to follow. And I know there was if people are going to have a listen to it, I won't spoil the live stream or the replay for you, but there was a little bit there where Dr. Keynes, was asked, what does he drive an EV? And while that may have been a personal question, he was more than happy to answer that question as well. And what got me towards the end were his words where he said, hey, you know what? This is the future for the global world in terms of transitioning to electric vehicles. And we've all got to do our part. And I thought that was just wonderful words from a very, very intelligent, very progressive person to be in charge of the RACQ public policy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was very genuine in his responses. Like, he basically answered all our questions so truthfully, so earnestly, and some of the audience questions too. So yeah, my thanks can't go enough to Michael. And sure, that might have been a personal question, but you know what? In some ways, that's possibly the most important question to ask a guest. Do you drive an EV? Because if you don't drive an EV, you don't actually understand what we're about, Rahul. You, me, Riz, the guys and girls in the audience, we get it, right? If you don't drive an EV and you work for a company or a business or an organization that purports to actually progress EVs, like, you won't get it. So I'm glad Michael drove an EV, and that's why he was able to give such a genuine response to his answers. So thanks once again. Peter's just filling in on the Como Centre in Melbourne, where we show that Supercharger location. So it isn't free, but if you're there during staffed hours and show your Tesla app charging, they'll give you a substantial discount on their rip-off parking rate. So clearly in South Yarra, obviously it's probably not going to be free. From my geography, it's a pretty posh area of Melbourne, South Yarra. Wayne says he sat in the BYD Dolphin today at BYD in Toowoomba, and they told me that they should have a seal at the showroom next month. Fantastic. Looking forward to it, and would love a 3.8 second one. Hey, you might as well have that showing people, I think, at that showroom. So that's good. Oh, Ricky's watching us from Queenstown, New Zealand. I'm moving to beautiful Darwin and Northern Territory later this month, and I have ordered a Model Y. Fantastic. Congratulations, Ricky. Hopefully it'll come soon. And Scotty, I agree. I feel like I was talking to a politician in a good way. He was not just talking, but he was very genuine as well in his responses. And I agree, we need someone like that making decisions at the very top level. I agree. Ray says, I cannot wait to get in my MG4 long range, and yes, it will be orange. Yes, the classic MG4 color will stand out for sure. Yeah, we'll see you coming, Ray. No worries at all. And yes, thank you, Jasper. Yes, Michael did have a few technical issues with his StreamYard link. That's fine. I don't think he was with Optus. But nonetheless, yes, we may do. You know, you gotta do what we gotta do. We can't let the crowd down, Rahul. So no, thanks everyone for dealing with that. We'll do a proper run through next time before all good. All right, let's move on to something else I'm sure you all want to hear about, which is the Tesla Owners Club of Australia, a very good organization advocating for Tesla owners in this country. And members will be able to see the new refreshed Tesla Model 3 across the country. Here's an example of the ACT email, which our good friend Nash once again posted on X. So he says, Highland refreshed Model 3 coming your way. Check your email now. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, get dressed now. And here is the information here. So, dear ACT and surrounding regional New South Wales TOCA colleagues, Sydney and other New South Wales regions, please wait. And I think other states have also got theirs as well. Some exciting news. Tesla Australia are holding their TOCA member-only event to showcase the new Highland Model 3. And I believe it'll be sometime next week. That is the week starting the 20th of November. So if you're a TOCA member, check your emails. If you aren't, maybe it's time to consider joining if you want to get a sneak peek look at the Highland Model 3.
Tom, so this begs the question, are the new Highland 3s in Australia? And where are they hiding them? And do we need to get Riz a new pair of runners so he can go and paparazzi, take some shots of these and get us the early scoop? Yeah, what are your thoughts? You think we've already got some cars in the country?
Well, Rahul, I must just say, in Riz's absence, I'm a little bit disappointed with Riz, given that he's in a private jet above us right now. He couldn't have dialed in using his Wi-Fi. Like, seriously, come on, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Riz is the man to speak to. He's got his runners on usually. I haven't seen any transporters in Australian soil yet holding Model 3s, or at least the refresh ones. I've seen them in New Zealand, so we can't be far away. Surely it's on a ship somewhere. Maybe Beta Prime's got information. But yeah, I'm sure we've got enough spies in our audience and in our network to, I'm sure, post something on social media very soon. Because if it's next week, it's got to be coming off a ship very soon. So yeah, keep those eyes open, everyone. Well, thank you, Wayne, for joining us as a member. Much appreciated. That's very kind of you. And Scotty's saying Riz is probably camping out of Richmond, hoping to get first snaps. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's his alibi for being on a plane, right? Who knows? Maybe he needs a parachute and some binoculars too. Okay. Yes, and Scotty, I agree with you. EVs are our future. Our locations for charging stations could bring in new clientele to regional cities and towns. Yeah, we spoke a little bit about EV tourism with Michael on Monday. And if you're an accommodation owner or even an Airbnb site, I mean, I would install a EV charger, quick smart, because you're going to attract, what are we now, like 8% of new EV sales, of new car sales are now EVs. So there's a nice sort of segment to capture straight away. So, I mean, they're the kind of accommodation role that I look at now, sites with EV charging, because it just makes a holiday much easier driving an EV to an accommodation site.
Yeah, 100%. And I do the same. I think the last trip that I had from Melbourne to Sydney, coming back via the South Coast, we looked for accommodation spots that had EV chargers, or at least accommodation spots that had even access to a parking spot right next to your either your caravan park unit or your cabin or your motel accommodation, so that I could just plug in the 240 volt PowerPoint Tesla charger into the plug, along with an extension lead, as long as it was safe. We did do that, and then the next morning you got up, you had 50-60%, and you went to the supercharger, had a cup of coffee. By the time you got back, your car was ready to go. So yeah, I think all these sites transitioning to having at least a destination charger or some sort of EV charging capacity on site is just going to be more attractive. The amount of money that people will spend knowing that they're going to wait there to charge, it's a no-brainer. It's going to pay off in no time.
Yeah, correct. There's a bit of a fear actually amongst accommodation owners that their power bill is going to increase. That's actually one of the top 5 questions I get asked by people who are curious. How much are you actually paying in your power bills? And I say, well, not that much more. And to be honest, I'm not paying petrol, so it's like far more offset paying for electricity than paying at the pump. And I guess that's kind of education that RSEQ, NRMA, all the other different motoring bodies could help with accommodation site owners to say, look, your power bill is not actually going to go up that much, and it's a business expense which will actually attract more customers, more high-end customers driving EVs too. So just a thought there for our motoring bodies. Yeah, coffee shop on highway with DC chargers, business opportunity, 100% Wayne, I couldn't agree more. Why just coffee shops? Why not like a food outlets? Whether it be fast food or something decent. Yeah, I mean that just makes sense, like a ground up EV charging station for sure. Simon says we have a farm stay near Tenterfield, New South Wales, and have installed chargers for guests, and have had quite a few EV owners stay over the last 3 years. Yeah, nice one. Well done, Simon. Yes, thanks, Gaffer. I didn't miss that. I did see Jasper as a new member. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we've got another thing. Oh, here we go. Gaffer said also, when the Highland models turn up, they'll funnel through Port Kembla. So we should get Nash to chase them down with his camera. Yeah, 100%. Port Kembla, New South Wales, very close to Nashville or Wollongong there. So I'm sure Nash will post it himself. Just moving on, staying with Model 3 Highland. There's an example of the Model 3 Highland, which is the front one, now with the new TESLA badging in front of the current generation Tesla Model 3. So there you go. That's the difference at the moment. So you've got very similar, shell with the, lip like that over the top. And then you've got different lights, of course, as well. Bit of a diffuser down here too, I think, as well, as opposed to just a flat rear for the previous generation Model 3 too. So that's a nice comparison there on the roads in America between the two vehicles.
Yeah, it's definitely a sharper looking car. And from what I've heard, the interiors have also been revamped as well. And I think one of the biggest pluses from what I've heard so far is that the interiors are much more soundproofed and quieter as well while you're driving as well. So it's just making that whole driving experience a lot more seamless, a lot more enjoyable for pretty much the same price. No additional charge for all these improvements.
Yeah, not too much anyway. I saw the difference between the two. So yeah, almost negligible. So it's good. And also apparently the suspension has been improved as well. I did see CarWow's video. They did a little suspension test with an app. It wasn't a huge improvement, but certainly better from what he saw too. And he was driving on cobblestone in Europe, in Norway, I believe. Good question from John here. Is there a beast such as a EV fast lap, a hot lap, like the old-fashioned supercar trips at Eastern Creek, New South Wales? I'd love to give it as a prezi to a family member doubter. Hey, that would be a great idea if anybody is in that business, of doing a safety hot lap, or even driving, defensive driving school class for a day with a hot lap thrown in. I mean, I'd love to take a performance Model 3 or Porsche Taycan or a BYD Seal performance vehicle, or even the MG X Power on a hot lap in Eastern Creek. So if anyone in the chat or watching a replay, is in that game or in that industry, that's an idea for you, and I'm very happy to promote that too. So that'd be good. Ray asks, does soundproofing my outside noise a problem when you cannot hear a horn warning you? Well, I don't think it's that soundproof, mate. I haven't sat in a car where it's that soundproof, so I think you'll be okay. Pretty sure they'll be gesticulating too.
I think the new Model 3s, the Highland versions, also have got the light in that speaker section as well, which just warns you when there is a car in your blind spot as well. So they've added that new feature there as well.
Like a blind spot monitor.
Correct, yeah.
And
I think that's located in that speaker just on either side of the rearview mirror. Sorry, not the rearview mirror, the side mirrors as well. So
yep.
Yeah, that's an additional sort of safety feature that they've added in there as well.
Yeah, I must say the blind spot monitor is quite handy. The MG4 I'm driving at the moment, the Excite version, doesn't have that. I do miss it a little bit, having driven other cars with it too. So be good. Brenton says Jaguar used to run driver sessions there. The EV there was so much fun, but I don't think they do it anymore. Actually, I have been to one of those Jaguar drive days many years ago. In fact, I have a video of that on my channel from like 5 years ago. So if anybody finds that video, make a comment so I know I'm being loved. So go check it out after the stream and say, yes, I've seen this video. So thank you. Gaffer says, don't turn up the heavy music too much. Heavy metal music too much. That's funny. Staying with Tesla, a bit Tesla heavy today, but there is a lot to unpack. So stick with us. We've got some non-Tesla news later on. But this is the reason why Tesla doesn't advertise much, because they've got fans creating videos like this. Let me just pop this up full screen, and then we'll have a look.
人生三件事，侬辣盖等何里天？ 没必要等，安心就是现在。
Wow, that is sweet as. I mean, that is a fan video, not an official Tesla ad. And I might just translate for you just real quickly some of the Chinese text here. So this initial bit says we live about, I think, 30,000 days. And I think something like why wait for, you've got one day or something. You've got one day in your life to make a difference or something. And then this is a shot of Shanghai, sorry, in China. And then at the end, so why wait? Get into a Tesla Model 3. So, I mean, an amazing ad, right? All fan production. Rahul, I think you might have shared this with me here. So, what are your thoughts on this video?
Oh my God, incredible. I'm just like, hey, all you need now is the new James Bond or Ethan from Mission Impossible. And there you go. I mean, amazing production value. And the car just pops. Unbelievable this is done by fans. But yeah, you're right, Tom. Tesla doesn't need advertising. I was just thinking to myself today, there are so many models and so many makes and manufacturers that do have cars in an EV version in Australia and worldwide globally. But you always just hear the young kids or the teenagers just going, hey, Tesla. And that happened to me today. I took my kid to Melbourne Museum, and there's a couple of kids in there, and they're like, I was pulling out. They're like, "Hey, that's Tesla." They don't say, "Hey, that's a Polestar," or "That's a Volvo," or "That's an MG," or "That's a BYD." It's always Tesla. Like, their market value and their market recognition is next to nobody, and that's their marketing itself.
Yeah, look, to be fair, we do, we try and highlight all EVs, but you're right, Rahul. Like, in some ways, Tesla is like the Kleenex of tissues, or I'm trying to think of another brand of, synonymous with that brand, but Tesla is EVs at the moment. Like, I even get asked by people like, oh, what other Teslas are there apart from Tesla? There's Polestar, BYD. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So yeah, no, it's a great video. But actually, Tesla is starting to advertise too. I did see a sponsored link from Tesla when I was browsing the other day. So yeah, so maybe the game is changing. But yeah, great to see some fan videos or fan fix, I guess you can call it. And Ray's saying, wouldn't it be amazing if Fast and Furious would have featured the new Tesla? Hey, wouldn't it be amazing? Fast, what are they up to now? 11 or something, right? Having electric vehicles there, racing some of those supercars. Tom, now that we know you can speak and read Mandarin, shouldn't Yang Wang be? Yeah, well, it's actually Yang Huang, actually. Huang is instead of Wang. So, yeah, that's to be fair. Well, I mean, sure, you can pronounce it the way they do, but I think probably we'll have to, I don't know, they might have to rebrand it in Australia just because it's obviously going to sound odd to non-Mandarin speakers too. Yes, I heard that today GM are going to be bringing Lyriq electric car to Australia. We might as well segue to that real quick. I did see, here we go. So I might just share this real quick while you've got SWS talking about this. So, Chris posted, we had Chris on the stream recently. Huge news for Aussies and New Zealand. Right-hand drive 2024 Cadillac Lyriq EV coming soon. Dual motors, 373 kilowatts, 610 newton meters of torque, 102 kilowatt hour NCMA battery. That's a big battery. It's NCM, unfortunately. 19 speakers. Who needs 19 speakers? ANC system. 33-inch display. What? Are they serious? 33-inch display? I guess it's like across there. That's a big display. Wow. That's a very luxurious looking vehicle. 3 climate zones, 3-zone climates, heated front and rear seats, ventilated massage function. Probably greater than $100,000. Doesn't surprise me. And Chris has got a video coming out. Yeah, nice shots there. I mean, gosh, Rahul, imagine taking this around Victoria or New South Wales. You'd be feeling pretty ritzy there.
Yeah, look, it's definitely a head turner, and I can see a market for it, just like the Kia EV9, which I believe is also going to be just over 100K, even with the base model as well. So definitely in that category as well. Now, I think this one comes through early next year. Is that correct, or is it late?
Yeah.
Late year?
Let's see. Chris said 2024. Don't know.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, coming soon could mean any time from January 1 to 31 December 2024. So we've got 12 months to play with.
You know what? I can see this being the new Range Rover replacements in South Yarra, Toorak, Brighton,
Yeah.
and in Mornington in Melbourne, put it that way.
Look at this. So Tassie EV1 Lyriq launched today. Riz, I suspect, was at its launch event. Ooh, speculation. I actually honestly don't know. Riz didn't tell me, so it could be Tassie EV1. I don't know. He could be. That's the reason why he's in his private jet and getting picked up from a Spectre in Melbourne, Tullamarine. So we'll find out from him if he does tune in later on. Okay, so we've got Dave Donnelly. Would buying a car with NCM be considered a poor choice in 2023-24? Sadly, Model 3 long range Highland only comes in NCM. Yeah, I gotta be honest, Dave. I am probably gonna be hard pressed to buy another car that's NCA, knowing the BYD Blade battery exists with a large battery pack. Like the BYD Seal long range and performance is actually in LFP, 82 kilowatt hours. So the technology actually does exist. So I don't know. It's a much safer battery, better longevity, less degradation, no cobalt. So for those reasons, Dave, I would kind of agree. It's a questionable choice anyway. So anyway, we'll see what happens in with Lyriq. Hello, Tesla Taz. Nice to see you. We used to have Tesla Taz on the show, and yeah, thoughts on the stalk delete for Highland. I mean, we've covered this quite a bit. It's definitely a mixed picture. Some people are curious. Some people are wondering how they're going to exit a roundabout. But I can see where they're heading towards the future, which is obviously autonomy and full self-driving for Tesla. So that's where they're going. Robin PK says lots of YouTube content EV haters uploading nonsense nowadays for clicks. Yeah, it's sadly true, Rahul, isn't it? So funny to read the BS from people who've never owned one. It's true. We talked about this earlier. I'm only going to take you seriously if you actually own an EV, or at the very least a plug-in hybrid maybe, but an EV, or have driven an EV for a reasonable amount of time and know what it's about and how to charge it and how to drive it, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think wasn't there an article on X, the US TV station, about this owner who had the F-150 and a series of misadventures where he went to one of Electrify America's chargers where it didn't work. Then he went to another one, it didn't work. I think only had about 12 miles of range or whatever. But a lot of FUD out there. Obviously, not a well-planned journey by the person in question, who could have maybe done a bit of homework as well. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of mindset changes that we just need to address in a very sort of patient manner and get people across the line in terms of owning EVs. But I think there was also another article in The Driven today saying, yeah, if you're going to be buying an EV, you'll be influenced by your neighbors. And yeah, that's true. Loads of my neighbors have asked me about EVs and what's it like to drive. And while I wouldn't say that they'd be looking at buying one straight away, but it's put that thought in their head to transition to an EV to their next car.
That's right. This is the article here that you're referring to, Rahul. People with neighbors who drive electric vehicles are more likely to adopt the technology themselves, according to research that could be mirrored in Australia. Yeah, it's so true. Like our home has been the only EV home for a long time, since 2016 when I got the Model S. And in the last 12 months, I can tell you in my neighborhood, I can at least count 10 in the 2 or 3 streets I drive around every day. Probably more, actually. And not just Teslas, BYDs as well. So, yeah, I think just seeing them on the streets, it's kind of like an earworm for the eyes. Like you kind of see it all the time, go, maybe I should look into this. It's kind of a form of evangelism, isn't it? Like you see someone actually got a car, I should probably look into it instead of just sort of putting my head in the sand. So, yeah, very good point. Scott, I assume you're a teacher, Scott. All my students know only of Teslas. They don't realize how many manufacturers produce EVs. Yeah, there's a lot of them, isn't there? And A lot of them coming out of China too. Greg's saying that the Lyriq is going to be $130,000. So yeah, I'll put it back on the screen here. So there we go. And yeah, what is it? I saw Gaffer's point here. So it's not all one display. It's a screen that cleverly covers 3 digital screens. Okay, I think underneath, I believe. I see. Makes sense. Scotty says, will GM do well here when they burned everyone from pulling Holden? Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. And Hal says, you really need NCM for the performance and supercharging. Again, BYD performance seal is actually still LFP, so people don't realize that. You can't actually use LFP for performance still. Jasper saying you be able to buy aftermarket stalks for the Highland soon. Yeah, probably. I'm sure there'll be something from one of the accessory companies. 158 people watching Rahul at the moment, which is fantastic. Good time to segue to our sponsors as always. Thank you, Carloop, Warbox, and Evee. Check out our video description for some nice discount codes as well. Simon says, any news that maybe the EV6 GT is not selling as well as Kia had hoped? A few dealers have been advertising on the EV6 and 9 Facebook owners group. One today offering one for $98,000 drive away. Ooh, that's steep. Yeah, we did cover this a couple of streams ago. I think Mercedes was one, and I think possibly Ford. I think Ford might have been saying their sales weren't as good overseas. So I'll try and dig up something on Kia, maybe on our Saturday stream. Cool. Yes, and Tazza EV1 says, yes, friends, family, neighbors, all word of mouth advertising is the best kind of advertising. 100%. That's right. And Wayne agrees with me. Probably wouldn't buy a car that doesn't have LFP battery at the moment. Yep, cool. Yeah, which one of these sponsors is your secret upcoming secret insure? Well, it's so secret it's actually not listed. It's like next level secret. And that we've got another stream coming up next week to give us an update too, so stay tuned. I'd love to see more EV off-roaders, Brenton, for sure. Yeah, I'd love to see Rivian. I think, Rahul, you've seen one. I've seen one too in LA, and they are looking really nice.
They look amazing, definitely. Loads more sightings of the Cybertruck as well. And I think I've seen a couple of videos of Cybertruck off-road testing, winter weather testing in New Zealand as well. And then obviously hot weather testing in the Middle East. I'm trying to think, I might have been Dubai, I think, somewhere. So yeah, definitely, I think the next year to 18 months will bring some off-roading EVs into Australia. You're just on mute, Tom. Sorry.
Sorry, everyone. Talking to myself as always. But here's the Cybertruck invite. Tesla has started sending out invites to lottery winners and those who redeemed via the referral program. Now officially, it's American Freedom dates. 30th of November 2023, Gigafactory, Texas. There it is. So we will try to stream that. If not live, then well, not live as in we'll have a watch party. If not live, then later on to coincide with that. So stay tuned. I'll look at my diary for that. And just staying with Cybertruck, here we go. Sawyer's saying 10 Cybertruck spotted at Giga Texas today by Brad Sloan. So here we go. They're starting to be made, which is good. And staying with Cybertruck once again, we saw this week. The Cybertruck order agreement was that you cannot sell a Cybertruck in the first year of ownership, presumably because Tesla does not want you to flip this vehicle. Obviously scalpers will be out there, as they were with the Model Y and Model 3 in Australia, and probably overseas too, buying the vehicle and then selling it to desperate customers who couldn't wait any longer for a nice markup. However, Sawyer then posted this saying, no, Tesla has removed all language 3 days later from the page that said you cannot resell flip your Cybertruck within 1 year. So what is it going to be? Tesla, is it going to be no, you can't, or it's okay? Rahul, thoughts? It's kind of weird to be flipping like that, naturally.
Yeah, look, I think they're not the first ones to put in legal wording around not being able to sell your car in that first year. I think there was a very prominent case in the US just recently. John Cena, the wrestler who had a Ford GT6 limited edition, and I think he was trying to flip it, and I think Ford was trying to stop him from selling it. And a lot of your bespoke car manufacturers with limited edition models have that kind of wording in their sales agreements. So it's not a first time. Knowing how many reservations Tesla has for the Cybertruck, I guess they're only trying to just protect the pricing from going crazy, because even though it is very, very modern, very, very futuristic looking, the pricing makes me think that they want it to be attainable for loads of people to be able to sort of drive around in a Cybertruck as well. And that includes me. I'd love to have it at the price point of 60, 70K at the base model, and then whatever the additional costs are, as opposed to somebody advertising it on car sales for 100K.
Yeah, I'm kind of in like two minds about this. Like, yeah, look, I don't like the thought of scalpers. I don't like scalpers in general, flipping concert tickets, cars, whatever it is. It's not cool. But it's a bit different to concert tickets, where concert tickets you scalp it because there's literally no other tickets, right? Like that's it. The allocation's exhausted. But as we've seen with cars, and particularly Teslas, like it's not like the cars are going to run out. Sure, the first month is going to be crazy pricing, and if you're desperate enough to buy a Cybertruck, then it's a free market, right? Go ahead and buy it. I mean, it's your money, not mine. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, well, so be it, Jedi. But then again, if you're happy to wait a month or two, then you will get your car for 60 grand, because the Tesla will make those vehicles. It's not like we've got no Model Ys coming to Australia anymore. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. It kind of works both ways, right? So
I agree.
Anyway, leave your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently next year VW is launching the ID range in Australia. Okay, they've said that for the last couple of years now, so we'll see. And yeah, Rolls-Royce has a similar clause. Yes, Riz's Spectre has a similar clause. He's good at flipping too. His ex-handle is Riz Flip. Scotty says, I feel the percentage of flipping is a small percentage. Yeah, 100%. It won't be that many, and won't be that many buying either. Okay, so that's flipping. Let's move on with some happier news. So this is V4 Tesla superchargers at Giga Berlin Open. So again, this is the kind of stuff, more supercharger eye candy, that I wish we had in Australia. Look at that, Rahul. They're V4s as well, so you tap and go. There's at least, I can see, like 15, 20 in this bit here. Maybe there's more on the other side, but wowee. Amazing, right?
Incredible. German efficiency, complemented by American innovation. Hey, what can you expect? It's stunning to lok at.
Yeah, that is a toilet I'd be happy to use. Just saying. Looks clean, looks bright, looks safe, as opposed to some of the petrol station toilets.
And I think the big thing there is that it's not just for people who are working at Giga Berlin. This is actually open to the public as well.
Yeah, that's good. There it is. Yeah, that's the Giga Berlin showroom. Yeah, amazing. I mean, the stuff I can only dream of here. I'm sure all of us are dreaming of too. So, indeed. Oh, Scotty says doesn't look like a solar roof. Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell from this angle. Could be. Yeah, drill those superchargers, 100%. Yeah, Leon, nice segue. Thank you. I was just going to put this up next. EG is going to start using Tesla superchargers in Europe. So I'll just put this up here. Thanks to our good friend Sawyer posting this. Breaking British petrol station giant EG Group just announced that it will buy superchargers from Tesla. So this is very similar to what we saw in the US, where BP is going to be buying superchargers, well, the hardware anyway, and then rebranding it with their BP Pulse. So I'm not sure whether EG will be doing the same. I imagine so, rather than having Teslas there. But they'll be rebranding it with whatever petrol livery they've got over the superchargers. I mean, look, let's be honest here. We advocate for all EVs, but it's no secret that the Tesla supercharger network is the most reliable network at the moment, most easy to use, best uptime, Rahul, as all of us have found out. It just makes sense, right? Why wouldn't you buy the best technology?
Yeah, and I think you're right there, Tom. I think this is the second bit of news that we've heard of Tesla superchargers, but under a different branding. I think BP Pulse in the US. I think we covered that last week, and now you obviously got the EG Group. And I know this group because my wife is English. We've been to the UK a few times. They run the Asda shopping centres. I have noticed charges there previously, but obviously non-Tesla. But yeah, considering that they have loads of shopping centres and your grocery stores around the UK. This is a great move for them, and a nice little earner on the side for Tesla as well, with getting a third party for their superchargers.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, not to say we shouldn't have other brands as well, like for redundancy, right? You just in case, Tesla goes down, Optus style, we've got Kempower saving the day or whatever, and vice versa. So, I think if I was to be a business, I'd be diversifying and buying different brands just in case, as we've seen with another brand starting with T that doesn't sometimes lift its own weight. Mark says, exciting day today. Picked up my new MG4 X-Power. Congratulations, Mark. I'm sure you'll be tearing around your neighborhood. Now we wait for the Model 3 long range. Congratulations. And Wayne says, apparently England has 3 or 4 drive-through charging stations. Great. Now with heaps of DC and AC chargers. I mean, it makes sense. It's worked for petrol for so long. Why wouldn't you have drive-through charging stations?
Yeah, I think the big ones that Wayne might be talking about is the grid serve ones, and the Shell service station in Fulham in the UK, where they've just torn down a petrol station and then just converted into a EV station with loads of DC and AC charging available, along with coffee shops, you name it, food options, toilets, showers, everything, you name it.
Yep, fantastic. Oh, look who's joined us, Charles. Hey, Charles Gregory, back from his big trip to WA. Great. And thanks for joining us. Now back on his couch at home. I'm sure you are resting up, and it's a well-deserved rest for sure after that long drive. We might have to get Charles on the show, Rahul, at a future date to discuss his big trip. Tassie EV1, I agree. Kempower is also a reliable brand, correct? Very nice looking chargers too. And another reason why you want to use Tesla is because of this. I mean, look, next software update 2023.38 will predict supercharger availability and wait time. So how good is that? 2 cars en route because it can see the other cars in the network going to the same one you're going to. And then, see any out of orders as well. So, and estimated wait time on arrival. It's a bit long, but at least you know.
This is great. It just gives you a little bit more information of, when you're going to go charge at that site, whether you skip it, and if you've got enough charge to go to another site close by, or if you're desperately needing a charge, you can either slow down or speed up and get there, or wait. It gives you an idea of how long you're going to wait. So love the fact that Tesla is listening to feedback from people and constantly improving, constantly innovating their products.
Yep, 100%. How would one charge a BYD at these Tesla sites? So at the moment, V2, V3 in Australia, it's a bit tough if you've got a BYD Atto 3, if the cable isn't long enough, and possibly even the seal because it's on the other side. The V4 superchargers actually have a longer cable, so the sooner we get these V4s, the better. And if anyone else has a BYD Dolphin or Atto 3 with a V3 supercharger nearby, and you can tell it's a V3 because it's got one plug, can you please test it for us, or keep testing for us, because that's been an issue with that brand not being able to use the Tesla supercharger network that's open to all comers. Scott's saying, once I have my Polestar 2 long-range single motor, will I be able to access Tesla superchargers on road trips? Most of my charging will obviously be performed at home. Again, just to segue from the previous point, download the Tesla app and have a look at which Tesla superchargers are currently available to non-Tesla vehicles. It's a dynamic thing, so it'll be updated over time. But about 30 stations at the moment across Australia are currently available to use. Good question from Jerrycan. How do we know the optimum number of chargers per EVs should be? Well, Riz actually alluded to this. I'm not sure whether it was Saturday or Wednesday. He said in Australia currently it's about 35 cars to one DC plug or EV plug, whether it's DC or AC, which is terrible. I think in Europe it's something like 6, or Norway it's 6. So yeah, I think obviously the small number the better. We probably should get some statistics on petrol pumps, and then we can sort of aim for that too. But imagine 35 to 1 during a busy day like Boxing Day or Good Friday or New Year's Day. My goodness, that's why there's some people almost come to blows at these places. I don't know what the optimum number is, but certainly not 35 to 1. Peter says, tearing down a petrol station doesn't always work. The underground tanks always leak. Whoever remediates the sites has to scoop out lots of earth. That's why they have become flats with basement parking. Okay, interesting. Andrew says he's picking up his Model Y standard range or rear-wheel drive in Sydney on Saturday. Congratulations. Thanks for getting us there. Hey, anything we can do to help you. Oh, look who's here. Oh, Riz. Riz has touched down somewhere posh, I'm sure. Spectre's been awaiting for him, and yeah, Riz, welcome home, I guess. Hopefully the private jet looked after you. Oh, apparently there was a fight at the charger in Malaysia, possibly over a DC charger. I mean, look, it's gonna happen, right? There's no like queue system at the moment. It's just asking for trouble. So someone works something out really quick. Someone smarter than me, anyway. Oh, yep. Hey, Riz, indeed. Rachel's saying I'm planning my BYD Dolphin at a Tesla supercharger, but they have not activated my SIM card in the car yet. I'm not sure if this is needed, but I'm sad that BYD does not do this faster. Yeah, I think someone else said that too. I think Chris and Carol, who shared their photos with me, said it's going to be a week before the SIM card is activated, as opposed to, as you know, Rahul, Tesla straight away activates all connectivity, like literally as soon as you pick up your car, which is cool. Oh, look at this. Riz says the doors presented themselves on the Spectre. The butler must have opened the door with his brake pedal. Or her brake pedal, I'm sorry. Riz living the high life. How funny. As Riz keeps us entertained, let's push on with this article here. So this is Weekends Ruined. The Ford F-150 Lightning engineering sample spotted charging in Victoria. That is a big-ass vehicle right there, taking up the entire spot.
Yeah, just barely fits in there.
Yeah, that, I mean, look, it's you know, our ex-prime minister said they couldn't tow, but I'm pretty sure this thing can tow. It's a big car.
Definitely.
I saw a pic too of this compared to a Prado, I think, or a Land Cruiser. Land Cruiser is not a small car, but this is a monster. So yeah, interesting to see how many they sell here in Australia.
I wonder where this was, because this is a Victorian plate, so I'm guessing this is in Melbourne somewhere.
Yeah, somebody can tell us hopefully on the chat. Yes, Riz, I agree. Someone also, we said that Chris and Carol from WA said that SIM card activation was delayed as well. Leon saying Riz is taking this Hollywood thing a bit too seriously. He's a high flyer. That's our man. Let's move on to this one. So Sawyer again. Polestar unveiled the Polestar 5 EV's final production design for the first time. That is a sweet looking vehicle. Kind of in the same vein as the Polestar 3 with the light bar at the back. And it's kind of, I think they're calling it an SUV coupe. Again, I'm sort of tripping up over this term, this coupe SUV. A coupe is a two-door vehicle, everyone. But that's what it is. It's apparently an SUV. It looks pretty low to the ground to me, to be honest. Sweet car though.
Yeah. I think Polestar are really hitting that design of their newer cars, you know, into that sort of sweet sort of spot. It just looks so appealing, and it feels like every element in those cars in that new design has a place and a purpose. Really, really well thought out as well. So yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah, same theme. Thor running lights, Thor headlights. That's what Volvo has as well. And yeah, no rear window. There we go. Camera only. Makes sense, right? If you've got the digital camera there, you can sort of look out that way. It's going to take some getting used to. I mean, I've driven cars with digital side mirrors. That's kind of a bit weird as well. You got to adjust your focal length a little bit. So curious to see what this is like with a rear mirror that's digital. So that's the Polestar 5. Nice looking vehicle. Brenton likes it too. It's hot. And Chris and Carol saying the Dolphin they had a faulty SIM and needed replacement. All good now. Anyone with the Dolphin, check your car software info to see if the SIM card is present. Okay. Yep. Nice public service announcement. Okay. I apologize. Greg says it's not an SUV. Yeah, right. Am I mixing this up with the Polestar 4 maybe? Looks like a sedan possibly. Yeah, maybe the Polestar 4 is a SUV coupe. Apologies, everyone. Just bear with me. Maybe someone can look that up and confirm that for me. Polestar 5 type of car. Thank you, Google. What type of vehicle is a Polestar 5? Okay. Luxury electric 4 doors. Okay. Someone looked that up for me. Tassie EV1 says they're sure it's an SUV, maybe a crossover. The pictures don't look like it. Doesn't look like an SUV, does it? Okay. So 3 is SUV, 4 is a coupe. Okay. Thank you. Greg says it looks like an Audi A7 like. I don't know these days. I mean, you can start to tell from photos. Like some of the SUVs look so sporty. It could be a coupe or a sedan even. Everyone's trying to be more aerodynamic, particularly when it comes to EVs. Cool. All right, let's move on. And another EV. So Fisker on Monday reported a Q3 loss that was wider than Wall Street expected, and said it delivered about 1,100 Ocean electric SUVs in Q3. Net loss 91 million. Rahul, thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, having 625 mil in cash as a niche EV maker with no global market share at the moment, just in North America alone, you're going to be struggling. I think Lucid at least has partnerships with with Saudi Arabia, where they've set up a new factory, and I think they've got more cash on hand. And same thing for Rivian. Rivian has partnerships with Amazon for the Amazon delivery trucks, and then I think a mega factory somewhere in Atlanta, where they've got a lot of tax concessions as well, with I think close to about $2 billion in cash as well. Yeah, Fisker with their cars being, really, really well produced, but not having the financial capability to weather, I guess, these sort of high losses makes me wonder how long they can stay in the market.
I guess, Rahul, the question is, can they find more investors? Can they fund, or is it end of the road for Fisker? Hopefully not. I want to see more EVs on the road for sure. Just confirming, everyone, the Polestar 5 is a coupe, or at least a four-door coupe, if that's such a thing. Again, another misnomer. It's going to compete with the Porsche Taycan. So apologies. I think the Polestar 4 is a SUV type thing. All right, cool. Let's move on to another EV, another cool car, the Karma Automotive. Wow, that's a good name. Unveiled a new flagship electric car called the Kavia. 180 miles per hour top speed. That's quick. 1,180 brake horsepower, 120 kilowatt hour battery. Big battery for a car that size. 2 trims, up to 250 miles of range, 400 Ks, and entry level 2025. Yeah, the concept vehicles are nice. They look good, don't they? With those gull wings, I guess you call it.
Yeah, I think they were one of the first sort of your niche Karma Revero sports cars in the US, which I saw one of the guys on $1 Million Listings LA driving around in LA. So yeah, Karma obviously a well-known name in LA, in that San Fran sort of market there as well. So no shortage of cash in that environment for people to burn. They will find some buyers for these cars. They do look amazing, though, I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I'm sure someone will buy it. Riz will buy it, I'm sure. Riz just saying he's just in the back of the Spectre, took the bottle of rosé out of the Rolls wine bar. Very good. And yeah, he says also Fisker on the UK roads and right-hand drive now. Oh, very good. Okay. Hal's helping out Koshi. He says cash burn means 4 to 5 quarters left. CFO left just before the results were announced. Not good. Not good signs. Ooh, let's see Riz responds to this. So how was the Lyriq, if you're allowed to say anything yet? We'll see. Maybe mum's the word. Moving on to another EV concept. This is the BYD Sea Lion 07. Is going to be another sporty SUV coupe design drawings launched. There we go. This is definitely concept. Another 4-door coupe, another misnomer. So this is probably going to compete with Model Y, I assume. Looks like similar shape. Crossover SUV.
Yeah, correct. I think in saying that, the Chinese manufacturers have so much. Sorry, I should say the Chinese manufacturers are so much more quicker in getting from concept to a car out on the road as manufacturers as well, as we've heard from Elliot as well, from China as well. And BYD having a strong presence now in Australia, I would gather that in the next 12 to 18 months, they would definitely have some sort of car of that SUV available for reviewing in Australia and in China as well, if not sooner in China.
Yeah, I like the fact that BYD is using Australia. Well, they used Australia and New Zealand as like the test bed for Western countries when the Atto 3 was launched. Like we were one of the first to actually have it on our roads. Well, have the cars in the showroom anyway. So it's good. Hopefully more vehicles and more brands will do that for us. And I don't mind being a guinea pig to test some of these vehicles for the rest of the world. I think that'd be good. It's kind of like a test market for US if they ever have Chinese vehicles, and Europe, of course. And just want to correct myself. Thank you, Sanvi. They are scissor doors. These Karma cars, whereas Gullwings fold up and out, as do Falcon doors with the X. So thank you for that correction. And moving on to this, so PlugShare charging station growth. This is great. At the end of October 2022, PlugShare listed 613,944 charging stations compared to 827,000 at the end of October 2023. So great to see some nice steady growth there for chargers listed on PlugShare. Okay, so Greg also says Lucid announced big losses. I think we covered this too, didn't we, Rahul, recently? Lucid also not doing well.
Correct. And I think Rivian also posted losses, but I think their losses are decreasing quarter by quarter, which means they're on the right track. Yeah. But Lucid, I think, is also losing about $400,000 per car as well. And their share price is tanking as well. So I think Lucid and Fisker might be two casualties, whereas I think Rivian and Ford and GM and obviously Tesla will continue on in the US. Remains to be seen, unless one of these companies get bought out by another competitor.
I mean, you could kind of see Lucid doing that from the very beginning, right? They wanted to create a luxury vehicle with no history. It's really difficult to do that from the ground up. I mean, yeah, their cars are beautiful, but they're so expensive. It's a big risk to buy one too. So unfortunately, they might be one of the first to go, as you said. So Riz has confirmed that he only heard about the Lyriq announcement before getting on the plane. Okay, wonder if they're serious about selling EVs in Australia. We want serious people only, Riz, 100%. Okay, Steve says TOCA Queensland, so Tesla Owners Club of Australia Queensland, have a members only viewing in Brisbane on the 24th of November. I think a lot of the clubs the TOCA state clubs have their viewings around the same time. So thank you, Steve. Maybe a good time to sign up to TOCA if you really want to see one of these. Yeah, I agree, JD. Interesting to see the Chinese car show. I think it'll be in Beijing in 2024. That'll be a great one to get to. Have to get Elliot back on again too. Yes, BYD CLU is a possibility because we saw one being tested, I think in Canberra recently. So yeah, hopefully. As Oscreamer confirmed, testing here. Yeah, I think BYD is already the biggest selling EV brand anyway. If you count their plug-in hybrids too. So is it going to be the biggest car selling brand in the world in 3 years' time? I mean, if China's the biggest car market in the world, then it could very well be 100%. And Sam is confirming TOCA state clubs having all their events next Friday. Tasmania and WA to be announced. So that's great. Riz, caddies are adored by rappers. Yeah, they really are, aren't they? All right, let's move along, and we're almost at the end of our stream, so we'll just wrap up with a couple more stories. This is Tesla opening up their Boulder Cone battery site in Queensland. There was a fire 6 weeks ago. 2 of the modules are still down, but looks like hopefully everything's been tested and all good and bona fide, and great to see another backup, another battery site in Australia. If anyone has ever owned or owns a Powerwall 2 or any sort of battery, knows that they're quick. Like, it's not like a fossil fuel station where they've got to take time to fire up. They sort of instantaneously, within microseconds, switch to backup mode and provide electricity. They titrate according to how much solar you've got or how much your house needs, and they just it makes sense on a large scale having a battery like this. A couple in Victoria now in Queensland. Obviously, South Australia was the first to have their site, so good to see more battery farms, Rahul, in Australia.
100%, yeah.
And we will finish up with this nice video too, which I think you shared, Rahul. So let's put this on. Yeah, very nice. So for those of us listening on audio podcast, it was a video from the World Economic Forum just saying that we can transition easily to a clean economy, creating highly skilled jobs in the clean energy sector for people who were previously working in the fossil fuel industry, upskilling them and creating new job opportunities too. So thanks, Rahul, for sharing that. Great video.
Yeah, most welcome, Tom. And yeah, I think that video just shows you that big picture, but that big picture is enabled by every one of us making a small contribution towards that big picture. With regards to battery packs, to EV cars, to transitioning to solar battery at home, driving EV cars, transitioning to electric transports, public transport. And lowering the carbon emissions as well. So yeah, great bit of work there.
Yeah, 100%. Want to welcome Steve Hunt as a new member. Thank you very much, Steve, for joining the channel. Thank you very much. And Gaffer says, yeah, that fire in Queensland wasn't even a battery fire. I think it was finally reported as a fire in one of the feeder cables under the units. This is the kind of stuff you don't read in the news, right? They only report battery fire, but when it comes down to the cause, it's actually an ancillary part of the unit or the system. So yeah, unfortunately, this kind of stuff doesn't make mainstream news. Thank you, Hal. Tom's EV tours could be an interesting side hustle. I would sign up. Thank you. And Rahul Koshi could do the money side of things. Yeah, for sure. And Riz could be in charge of the private jet. He would know how to deal with that. I mean, he is the man. He's all about Ritz and glamour and all that. That's his world, So yeah. Cool. Thanks everyone. And thanks, Jess. Hit the like button so that Riz can take more trips for us. Thank you. And thanks, Rahul. As Tassie Evie1 says, nice to see Rahul in there as backup co-host while Riz was off on the roller. Yes, 100%. Yeah, and cool. Excellent. Thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you, Rahul, as Tassie Evie1 says. Thanks for filling in the Riz's big shoes.
No worries at all, Tom. Glad that Riz could actually join us at some stage. I have a feeling he may have landed a lot earlier, but he just wanted to spend a little bit of time in the Spectre Rolls Royce, having a few glasses of rosé before he decided, oh, you know what, I'll just join in for the last 15 minutes. Fashionably late. Welcome, Riz. Great to have you back.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. If I had the Spectre 2, I'd want to enjoy that as well. But he says thanks, everyone, and he will see us next time. Indeed, he will. Riz and I will be back on Saturday morning, and Rahul, myself, and Riz will be back next Wednesday morning to do the same thing. Keep you guys entertained and informed at the same time. Thank you to everyone for watching tonight. You are a fantastic audience, well-informed, enlightened, and engaging as always. So thank you so much. And we will see you next time on Ludicrous Feed Live. Take care, Rahul. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. And as always, happy charging.